The Locust Horde's religion was a polytheistic and animist belief that revolved around worshipping the riftworms, the massive indigenous creature of the Hollow. The symbol and the title of the religion was known as Trinity of Worms, which symbolized the riftworms as gods. The Trinity of Worms artifact had a glowing triangle in the middle and had 3 curved prongs designed to represent the worms of the Hollow. The main verse of the Trinity of Worms was written on the artifact and was spread out on the 3 prongs, which translated to "The Queen makes strong drones, drones secure Nexus, Nexus covers the Queen." The Rulers of the Nexus Plates, also known as Locust Tablets, was the Locust Horde's main religious book. The tomb contained a story of how the riftworms burrowed under Sarah's surface and dug underneath, creating the Hollow. When the riftworms left their waste behind, the waste fertilized the soil, creating and sustaining life for the locust. Another part of the tomb told a story of something light and hot that awakened the riftworm and killed most of the krill. It was later theorized by Baird that they were referring to the light mass bomb. The tomb also mentioned how the riftworm was used to sink the cities of Tallinn, Montevideo, and Lima.
So just received topside confirmation that Lima City, the entire city has been sunk right at your position.
Anya, it's a giant worm. They're sinking cities with a giant worm.
The Cantus monks were the religious priests of the Locust Horde and were at a caste level. They were one of the 4 primary races of the Locust and acted as a support role on the battlefield with the ability to revive injured locusts with their characteristic chanting. There were also Cantus scrolls which contained verses about communicating with rockworms, using their chanting to lure them out for hunting parties to slaughter for food. This scroll was shockingly made out of human skin fitted into rollers with the Locust text written onto it. According to the high priests of the Locust Horde, the sires were also seen as holy figures, being divine incubators evolved from the riftworms. Keter Vrol was the high priest of the Cantus and member of the Locust Council. Vrol served as high priest during the Lambent War and early Locust War. He was Queen Mira's advisor on all religious matters relating to the Trinity of Worms. During his time as the High Priest, Scourge acted as his apprentice. He pushed Scourge to the limits of what he could achieve within the church. This included inhaling emulsion fumes, which gave Scourge prophetic visions. One of these visions included the Locust Horde falling to the Lambent if they continued to fight them. During the Lambent War, Rom told Scourge to convince Vrol that he had a vision of the Temple of Trinity being attacked by the Lambent. This was part of Rom's plan to convince Queen Mira that they would lose the Lambent War and that they needed to invade the surface. After the Lambent attacked the temple, Vrol then allowed Scourge and Rom to attend the Queen's Council and spoke on behalf of the validity of Scourge's visions and the tactical approach of Rom, that the Hollow would fall to the Lambent and the Locust must colonize the surface. Little is known about Vrol's death, but it is presumed that he died during the early period of the Locust War. When Vrol died, Scourge took his role as the new High Priest of the Trinity of Worms. The Locusts had their own writing system, which was referred to as Locust Runes. The Locust Runes were based on a lexigram which was originally used by the scientists of the Mount Gadar laboratory to communicate with the original generation of the Locusts. The system consisted of symbols which represented individual letters and ideograms that represented full words based on the Tyrant language. The writing system's alphabet contained 26 symbols for 26 letters. The numbering system contained 10 numbers that were represented by 10 symbols. There was also a computerized version of the Locust writing system, which could be seen on the Locust computer terminals, which was much cleaner and easier to identify than the handwritten symbols. As for the relation between the human languages and writing systems, there are 21 confirmed ideograms that represented Tyrant words. As a spoken language, the official language of the Locust Horde was also Tyrant. However, the Locusts created several words in their own languages, which many of them were associated with the Tyrant word, but meant as something else when directly translated. Take the Locust army ranks for example, which are Mog, Vril, Vold, Krav, Zamel, and Uzel, which are meant as private, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, general, and high general. However, the direct translations are virgin, dirty, battered, bloodied, gored, and unbroken. It is also worth mentioning that the Locusts could also communicate with each other telepathically as they are all connected through the hive mind, which is the psychomagnetic link shared by all members of the Locust Horde. The Locusts had their own calendar system, which was based on emulsion flowing through the Hollow. Within the calendar system, there are 12 seasons, each with opposites, which were Queen, Emulsion, Fire, Water, Drone, Human, Leviathan, Krill, Danger, Secure, and Nemesis, Cedar. Each full rotation of the calendar was also referred to as a cycle, which matched that of a regular Saren year, and one cycle of the Locust calendar was also 1 year of the Saren's calendar. The Locust Horde had many objects that represented their society, culture and religion, and their people, like the Trinity of Worms artifact mentioned earlier. Queen Mira had her own symbol, which all members of her guard always carried with them. The Locust also had jewelry such as emblems that were just referred to as the Locust Emblem. In an intelligence report, Baird theorized that the Locust kept track of their fallen soldiers like the COG did with the COG tags. The Locust also produced human finger necklaces. To finish off the video, I'd like to discuss a little bit about the Locust architecture and infrastructure, which was largely composed of stone and brick. Some of the structures that were built included reaver pens, torture sections for captured humans, aqueduct systems, dams, bridges, and roads. The most notable structure that the Locust Horde built was the Royal Palace, where Queen Mira resided, which was located in the capital city of Nexus. The Royal Palace was the administrative headquarters and often where decisions regarding government, military, church, and science matters were discussed. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Gears of War content, and I'll see you in the next video.